let's learn how to make easy origami Christmas trees 3 ways. This origami Christmas tree step-by-step tutorial makes it easy for all ability levels. You can use whatever paper you have. This is simple, colored 8.5 by 11 paper, although I added some extra to make this first tree an 11 by 11 sheet of paper. I call this my folded simple origami Christmas tree. We're going to fold this paper several different ways so that it'll make it easier to do some folds later. So first I'm going to fold it into triangles, and then I'm going to fold it into rectangles, both directions. Can you see all of those creases in the paper? That's going to come in handy in a bit. If you look to my right, I have this little bone folder which makes creases really easy. So after you've folded it all these different directions, fold it into a rectangle with the crease to the top away from you. And you're going to grab that top right corner and kind of open the paper up, grab that corner and tuck it inside so that it folds into this triangle shape. Then move that top flap over into this diagonal. There's that bone folder that I like to use. Then do the same thing with that top left corner. Kind of open the paper up and tuck that corner inside, making a hard crease. So now you have a triangle, and you're going to want that top corner away from you. And it kind of makes 4 flaps like that, you can see. You're going to take that top right flap and you're going to fold it in towards the center crease and make it as even as you can, so that fold will fold right along the center crease. I'm going to use my bone folder to make that crease nice, and you can do the same thing. We want good creases because we're going to need those later. Then do the same thing with the front left flap. Fold it in towards the front center crease and give a good crease down that fold. Now flip the whole thing over and you're going to do the same thing on the back side. So starting with the right corner flap, you'll fold it in, fold along that center crease line, and then you're going to take the left flap and do the same thing. Again, make those creases really nice because we're going to need those creases later to make more folds. That's a key of origami. So use your thumb or use something to make that crease nice. Now we're going to cut off these bottom flaps, and it's going to be even from corner to corner on what will be the bottom of the tree, and then it will sit flat on your table. Now we're going to work with these flaps, these 4 flaps. We're going to take the top one from the right, open it up, and then you're going to open that whole thing, kind of open it up and tuck the fold inside to the center crease. That made that front flap now into 2 flaps actually. Now open the left flap up, open it, and tuck the folded edge inside to the crease, and that made that front fold into 2 folds. Now flip the whole thing over and do that with the back 2 flaps as well. Open that flap up and fold that outside fold edge into the crease. You've made 1 flap into 2 now. Do the same thing with the left side. So that's pretty typical in origami to repeat these things on every side with the same steps. So now we have 8 little flaps. We're going to take a pen or pencil and draw 3 lines on the right hand side, and those lines go from about a 1/2 inch from the center line out to the outside edge, and do the same thing on the left. Then you'll take your scissors and you're going to clip in to the center, and don't go as far as the fold or your tree will fall apart. It's about a 1/2 inch away from the center crease line. Okay, you're going to do that on the right hand side, then flip it over and go through the left hand side, and you're cutting through all the layers of your paper. These are going to become the branches of your origami Christmas tree. So you're going to take each of those little flaps, or in this case I took 2 flaps at once. Let's start with that. 2 flaps, and you take the top little branch and you fold the top part inward. Do you see how that gives it kind of the Christmas tree branch shape, that diagonal? Now do it on the second little branch and the third. So you have 2 flaps that you're folding at one time with each of those folds. Now go to the left-hand side and do the same thing. You'll take 2 of your flaps and you'll fold it diagonally down on the first branch, the second branch, and the third branch. Now, that one got away from me a little bit. So now I'm going to take those 2 flaps and kind of separate them out. You've done 2 at a time, and so you kind of open those up. So now they're separate again. And there's the right-hand side that I'm doing now. And open those up. And now you have all 4 of those flaps done. Now we're going to flip it over and do the exact same thing on the back. So you'll take 2 flaps on the top branch and fold them down diagonal, and now it'll be really obvious that you have the Christmas tree shape. And my bone folder really comes in handy to make good creases on these folds. So there's the 3 branches on the right, and now we'll do the 3 branches on the left, folding down each branch to have a diagonal edge on the side. Doesn't that look good? This is going to make a great origami Christmas tree decoration. I'm separating out the flaps so that each flap is separate, and then I'm going to have 8 flaps folded into this Christmas tree shape. And all I need to do is open the tree up, kind of get all the branches separated out, and it sits so nicely on the table. It looks awesome, doesn't it? So this is our first way to make an easy origami Christmas tree. For the second type that I'm going to make, I'm calling it the Easy Origami Tree Accordion style. It's the tall red one you see there. I'm going to use an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and fold it in half long ways, or what we sometimes call the hot dog fold. And you'll leave the folded edge to the right. And we will draw a Christmas tree on here starting at that top right folded corner and come down to the unfolded left corner. Now I made my branches have kind of rounded ends on them, but you could also make them pointed. Come back with your scissors and cut out that shape. You can see it there. The next thing you're going to do is draw sets of lines that are about a ½ inch apart, and they're going to be equal distance long. They're going to start on the folded edge of the Christmas tree and go towards the unfolded edge, but not clear to the edge. You'll be about a ½ inch to 3/4 inch away. You'll see what we'll do with these in a second. But you'll start at the top, and then you'll draw the first set of lines, go down about a ½ inch, draw a second set of lines, and keep going all the way down the tree. And as you get to the bottom of the tree, your lines can be longer because your tree is wider there. Carefully cut on all of the lines that you just drew. We're going to take each set of lines, and in between there, grab the piece of paper at the folded edge and pull it out towards the unfolded edge. And that's kind of the accordion fold that I'm talking about. Make a good crease there at the end of your lines, your clipped lines, and fold each one of those out to the outside edge. Now, when you get done, it's kind of cool. You'll open this shape up and you'll see that accordion fold shape, and that'll help it stand up straight. This makes a really nice tall tree for your grouping of 3 trees that we're making. The last origami tree that we're going to make is the most simple. It's just a cone do-it-yourself origami Christmas tree. All you need is a large circle cut of paper, and I used wrapping paper and I used my big Tupperware bowl to cut the shape. First, draw a little dot in the center of your paper and then clip into that dot from the bottom edge up to the dot and from the right edge into the dot. Then you're going to grab those 2 corners that you've made there and just circle the paper around, making a cone. And you can just grab your stapler and staple that cone into shape, and that's all there is to it. It sits flat on the table and makes such a nice, different shape of Christmas tree that we've made today. So you've learned how to make easy origami Christmas trees 3 ways, and then you can decorate your table very quickly and easily, and all ages of kids can help. There's lots more Christmas ideas over at welcometonanas.com. Come and join the fun.